So let us begin metals from Allen's keynotes, or rather continue. We have discussed a few metals, which is namely argentum metallicum, stannum metallicum, uh, aurum metallicum, and cuprum metallicum. And today we'll take another metal which is very important and a very vital element nowadays. You see it popularly in the jewelry shops and all the fancy showrooms. It's a status symbol. So let us study the remedy platina, which is actually also a metal and has some similarities which we have seen in other metals. What do we see in platina? Adapted to women, dark hair, rigid fiber, thin of a sanguine temperament, who suffer from too early or too profuse menses. So, someone who is very irritable, gets hyper very soon, is very, easy to get disturbed. That is sanguine temperament. So you will see this in Ferromed, you will see in some other remedies also, and you will see that this is actually a feature which is key for such remedies which are having their defense mechanism very strong. This is one of the very important aspects which we need to understand. And in platinum we have menses too early or too profuse. So whenever patients complain about too early or too profuse menses, we should start thinking about platina as one of the remedies, along with other class of remedies which have similar pattern of symptoms. For hysterical patients, alternately gay and sad, who cry easily, pale and easily fatigued. We see this also in Crocus sativus, Ignatia and pulsatilla, and now we see this in platina also. So someone who is disposed to mood changes, no, it's some remedy, Ignatia, some person would need it, and they behave very, they are very volatile. Sometimes they are very, you know, angry. Sometimes they are very sad. Sometimes they are very, uh, you know, crying in nature, laughing in nature. Most of the patients would fluctuate between these paroxysms. In their clinic, they would show their one face, but at their home or in their normal conversation, so which is the uh, state of uncompensation. Whenever they are in uncompensated state, they would always be more of their innate or inner nature, which you will see. So you will see that platina is one of the remedies which has this alternate state of crying or being happy, laughing or being sad, and so on and so forth. And someone who is very much easily fatigued and also pale or anemic in nature in their blood levels. Arrogant, proud, contemptuous, haughty, pitiful, looking down upon people, usually venerated, a kind of casting them off unwillingly. So, someone who is uh, of a very high ego, very high worth, and would like to always remind others what she is, what he actually is, or what he can do for others, again and again reiterate that and emphasize his identity. The I, the ego is emphasized and expressed. That's where you should think of platina as one of the remedies. Mental delusions, as if everything about her were small, all persons physically or mentally inferior, but she is large and superior. So, as a student, we would find it difficult to understand this aspect, but when you get into the practitioner mode, you will understand that this is nothing but their ego which they are expressing all the time. They want to emphasize that they are strong in the room, they have lot of attitude, they have lot of status symbol, and they want to show themselves as an authority to others who are below their status, below their category. That's where we should think of platina as a remedy. Trifling things produce vexation, profound vexation in fact. Ignatia and staph is one of the remedies, and you have platina also as one of the remedies. Remains a long time in the sulks. So we always know that natriumate dwells on past disagreeable agreements. We always see that Staphy's agri is the one who keeps on dwelling and keeps on feeling bad, remorse, hurtful. But you see that this is there in Platina also, and then Platina also has lot of vexation from that bad incident. Staphy's agria will have something that goes inward and hurts himself. Platina will do something for the or against the opposite person as a revengeful attitude, and that's where you have this egoistic attitude which it expresses amongst other people. And you see that there is satiety of life with taciturnity and fear of death. Aconite and arsenic are the top remedies along with platina. Mental disturbances after fright, grief, vexation, onanism, pride. So you see that lot of things which keep on disturbing them, from right from simple thing that is fear and fright to grief, vexation, onanism, pride, or something that is related to ego also. Next you have is mental symptoms appear as physical symptoms disappear and vice versa. So you will see that in Cupromet we saw that there are symptoms that appear in groups. Similarly in Platina you will see one symptom comes, other symptom goes, another symptom comes, the first one goes. And this kind of a periodicity you will see, or alternation you will see over a period of a few months and or few weeks rather than few days. So that's where you should know and understand how platina has this expressed in its symptoms, about variation of symptoms, right from the mental aspect, which is the mood alternation, sometimes happy, sometimes sad, or sometimes in mental symptoms expressed a lot in mental symptoms, and sometimes expressed a lot on the physical levels. And once you try to get it from the patients or from the relatives, you will make yourself a better prescriber in the long run, which is of much need for homeopathic practice. In fact, the pains of platina we all know and have been studying since a long time as a student, as a practitioner. They start gradually and they decrease gradually. In pulsatilla, they start gradually but they suddenly stop. This is also there in sulfuric acid. In platina, they start gradually, go slowly also, go gradually also. In colocin, they come suddenly, they go suddenly. So you should know these differences between different remedies: plant remedy pains, metals pains, mineral remedy pains, and animal remedy pains. Once you know these differences also, you will be in a better position to prescribe for patients on the basis of their chronic symptoms or on the basis of their acute symptoms. So good to see Nia 2587, Dr. Swanand, and few users on YouTube, and I'm glad that it is helping you all. So we are doing this live simultaneously on Instagram and YouTube. It's I think almost lot of remedies we have done, almost 120-40 remedies we have done from the Allen's keynotes right from the month of June, and we are continuing with the metals right now, almost about to finish metals and acids, and then we come to an end of Allen's keynotes with some bowel nostrils which we will discuss. So today's remedy is platina, and you see that the platina has pains which is we discussed about the constitution and the mental generals, and now we are on the physical generals where they feel the pains which are coming gradually and gradually decrease, and are attended with numbness of the parts. So all types of pains you can get it confirmed from the patient, what type of pain is it, and if it that part also has the numbness along with the pain. If it does have, it is platina. In fact, it is also there in chamomilla. So the pains which grow slowly, come slowly, go slowly are there in stannum metallicum and platina. And what is interesting is that they will have vague sensations that is growing their body part, or their ego or their physical or mental aspect is growing larger in every direction. So this is mentioned in physical generals, but you can generalize this and take it as a mind symptom also, and get it confirmed from the patient. Now you come to headache, and in headache also they'll have a sort of a pain, any sort of pain, but it will be accompanied with numbness. In the pain in the brain, numb, heavy pain, or in the brain or in the vertex, from anger or chagrin, hysterical, from uterine disease, pains which increase and decrease gradually. Constipation while traveling, if they are at sea, it is bryonia. If they are while traveling, it is platina. Many patients will require this remedy if they don't clear their bowels whenever they have change of place or change of city for few days. And constipation from lead poisoning, from inertia of the bowels, frequent unsuccessful urging, stools adhere to the rectum and anus like a soft clay. And it's very easy to express. Patients will express this from themselves in their subjective sharing of symptoms, and we will be able to prescribe platina. We can think of sinicula, we can think of natramine, we can think of nitric acid, and so on, the different types of remedies which have their nature of constipation expressed differently. So in platina, there is stools adhere to the rectum. We like soft clay. This is also there in alumina. And of people who are traveling, we already discussed. Of pregnancy, obstinate cases after Nux has failed. So Nux has a very peculiar feature, and how will you recognize it? They'll go to stools to clear the stools, to clear their bowels, and they'll come back. They will feel better for the time being when they clear their bowels, but after a few minutes they will again get the urge. That's Nux vomica. But after a few days of giving Nux vomica, when they are not improving, platina is the remedy that you can think of, because obstinate cases that Nux has failed, platina is the remedy which is mentioned. In female reproductive system, you will have sexual organs which are exceedingly sensitive, cannot bear the napkin to the touch, and will go into spasms from an examination also. Vulva is painfully sensitive during coitus, will faint during or cannot endure coitus. And in the same lines, on the same lines, we need to compare this remedy with murex and oregano. There is nymphomania. We study all these symptoms very peculiarly, very strongly for academic purposes. In clinical practice, you will need to confide the patient, you will need to get the patient to confidence to get these symptoms for confirmation if you can get it easily. Otherwise, you can ask a female doctor accompanying you, or the receptionist, or anyone, to ask these symptoms to the patient if it is possible. You will see that there is nymphomania, aggravated line in women, excessive sexual development, especially in virgins. Califos is the remedy, surprisingly a new remedy that is mentioned. There is vaginismus, spasms and constrictions. Menses is very important aspect for every female lady, and you will see that in platina there is too early or too profuse menses, too long lasting, dark clotted, offensive, with bearing down spasms, pains in the uterus with twitching, genitals are very sensitive, excessive itching in uterus, pruritus vulvae. It's very interesting. You have studied pruritus vulvae, itching in the private parts for the female genitalia, in the remedy sepia, in the remedy tarantula, and now you will see that it's there in platina also. So all those cases where there is such type of disturbances, you should think of these remedies: sepia, tarantula and platinum. Otherwise, you will keep on misleading the patient. Sulfur is going to help, but only 70%, 30% patient will not improve. You will need to give something else, and that is these remedies which have peculiar action on those parts. Next you have is in platina, metrorrhagia, flow in black clots, fluid, thick black, tarry, or in grumous mass. It's like a lot of clots, heavy thick clots. You see this also in the remedy Crocus sativus. So that brings us to the end of a very interesting metal which is very famous in the current scenario of the festive season that is going on, people like to flaunt it, flash it like a jewelry. Platina is a remedy. And what is interesting is that the person of Platina, Platina personality will also do the same things. He or she likes to flash himself, his ego, his personality, and express that he has a very unique identity, and no one should harm or disturb her, otherwise they are going to suffer, and also keep the opposite person also affected in some or the other way. So you can compare this remedy with aurum, crocus, ignatia, califos, pulsatilla, sepia, stannum. And in all the metal remedies we see that there is a vegetable analog mentioned. For example, in stannum we see it is mentioned pulsatilla. In cuprum we saw ipecac is the vegetable analog mentioned, and in platina there is valeriana as the vegetable analog mentioned. All the mineral remedies will have their counterparts in plant remedies. Once you understand that, all the mineral patients who need chronic medicine as mineral remedy, whenever they are in acute, they will need the plant medicine or the animal medicine which is mentioned as the complementary. This is the secret to follow-ups. Once you understand it, you will be in a better position to help all the follow-ups, and you will not go haywire searching for remedy what to prescribe in follow-ups, because that is one of the biggest challenge for all homeopaths. So that's all from today's session. If it has helped you, do let me know in the comments so that I know that this Alan's keynote session has helped you in some way or the other. And see you all again in the next session, and stay tuned in the story or the information that will be posted for the next session and the timing.